Hi, everybody. I'm gonna get on Instagram as well. So whoever's on Instagram, if you guys would love to join from there. Okay, let me just get it all set up. And okay. All right, today I'm gonna change it up a little bit. So today we're not gonna have a meditation. We will actually have just a discussion, a lecture, and then we'll do some breathing exercises today, okay? So just to recap what we did in the first 2 weeks, we discussed that what's important, right? I want to cover all of the steps. Every session we'll go over what was discussed before, and then I'll continue with the next one. All right. So number one step, acceptance. And I like to always say it's you just want to compare it versus resistance, right? We don't want to resist, we want to accept. So it's not giving up, it's accepting and moving forward. That's step one. Second step is calm, cool, and collected. And that step involves being present and being grounded. So we talked last week, we talked about how to stay grounded and how to not activate this parasympathetic nervous system, which is corresponding to fight, flight, or freeze response, which we tend to get into very often these days for no reason, right? So the real need for that parasympathetic nervous system is when it's a real danger, such as being in the wild, being attacked, that kind of stuff. It doesn't happen to us on a daily basis. However, modern day lives, stressful lives, for some reason, constantly turn it on for us, and we stay in that fight, flight, or freeze response for too long. That creates all kinds of side effects, physically, emotionally, psychologically. So we talked about that, and today I want to talk about mindfulness. So mindfulness is important for several reasons. Two things I think I'm going to cover today: how to be an observer, which I mentioned last week, that it's a very powerful tool that's going to help you in creating the life you truly desire, not just manage your stress and anxiety, but it's also going to help you create the life you truly want. And then one more step that also relates to mindfulness is energetic vampires. And I think I'm going to talk about it next week because it's a very big subject and equally important. So I wouldn't want to cut time on that. But let me just tell you quickly that energy vampires are energetic things that we don't even notice and realize that we get into those energetic things where we waste our energy and it's unproductive. It doesn't give us anything. In fact, we give away energy, and those energy vampires, they want that energy. We don't even realize we participate in that. By doing that, we give away energy, and so is our power to create our life. So it's very important. Next week, definitely make sure you tune in because it's one of the most important subjects on dealing with anxiety and stress and also creating the life you truly desire. So today I'm going to switch back to being an observer. Why being an observer is such an important tool? Usually we are not observing from the third point perspective what's happening to us. We are fully engaged into the game. So life is a game. Just imagine life as a game, as a theater. We are participating in that play in the theater. We are on the stage. We're constantly, most of us at least, for the most part, we are engaged in that game. What happens when we're just like always in the game and we don't get off the stage? We are almost like in a trance, like in a sleep. We don't really stop and analytically ask ourselves or take that third point view, like a bird eye view, and say, what is truly going on here? We don't take time to do that. When we are so involved in the game, we're playing in the theater, we are not able to use our critical analytical skills. We are then prone to responding very emotionally, very not just we involve our emotions and feelings. What happens when we rely on our emotions and feelings is that we usually have those conditioned and formed from early age, sometimes from previous lifetimes. Um, we kind of create those filters. So let's say, for instance, something happened in your lifetime and it formed a belief about certain situation. It created that very strong emotional response. So next time there is a situation that um, that could be remotely linked to something that happened to us in the past, that emotion is going to rise up, and we are going to react based on that feeling and emotion that we experienced long time ago as a child. So it's a preconditioned response. Happens all the time for most of us, and that's why you notice that certain things keep repeating over and over again, or you are constantly dating the same partner, right? You could start out like a new relationship and you think, oh, that's it, but then over time you find yourself dealing with the same situation, the same problem you were dealing with in the past relationship. It's because we keep repeating those scenarios based on our um, preconditioned emotional response. So yeah, I also like to call them triggers. So things are triggering us based on some unhealed wounds and traumas from our past, from our childhoods, our conditioning, as well as past lives. So how, and we get so involved in that, it's like filters, almost like glasses you put on that have those feelings and emotions, and that's the way you see the world, based on your past experiences. So what do? First of all, we need to become aware this is happening, that we are responding emotionally, and stop. We need to realize something is happening, something is being triggered right now in me. And I wouldn't advise you try to understand where this emotion originated and how far. You'll probably need to involve some therapy to do that. But like, just quickly here, I'm just discussing quick tips and techniques how to manage stress and anxiety. Just become aware that you are responding, and the way you're responding does not necessarily mean that this is what situation truly is, right? So I'm sure you heard the phrase, it's not what it is, it's how you see it. So that's exactly what it means. uh, Sometimes situation is nothing, but the way we give the importance to it based on our emotions and feelings, and those formed long time ago, and we keep reinforcing them over and over again. So what we want to do is become an observer. This is the quickest way to step out of this game. So what do? Could be very visual. Just imagine yourself pausing for a second and getting off the stage, and just getting into the off the stage, and just like, oh, let me see. I don't want to be an actor today. I want to be a producer of this game. Let me see what's truly going on. So we need to acknowledge that emotion and feeling that rises up in the situation, and pause. Take time and say, okay, I'm gonna go to the balcony. That's another expression one of my teachers from Harvard like to use. You go to the balcony and you look from it from above. Let me see what's happening. Visualize it, do it. Sometimes when you do that, all you need is just to become aware, and emotion is gone. That's it's as simple as that. Sometimes it's just an acknowledgement of what's happening. So these days we are all being triggered, being triggered big time, because of different wounds, right? Some people are triggered from a fear, not being feeling protected and safe, a lot of anxiety around virus, etc., and not what's going to happen to us. could be wounds from our childhood that we didn't feel safe, we didn't feel protected. So that could be an immediate response to what's going on in the world. And then the vice versa, I like to use my personal trigger in this scenario is that, ooh, we're supposed to wear masks, we're supposed to sit home, we're supposed to do that. Part of me wants to rebel. Ooh, someone is telling me what to do. So it's my trigger that I was not free to express myself and be who I wanted to be as a child. Because let's say parents or school, pre-K, kindergarten, whatever it is, was imposing different rules on me. So nowadays, when I am facing these new rules and regulations, I am triggered almost like in a rebellious way. Ooh, because this is my trauma. This is my trauma from childhood. So what you do, you become aware of it. You get off the stage. You don't want to participate. You realize this is my old trauma. This is my trigger. You get off the stage. You get on the balcony. Use whatever expression, whatever metaphor you want to use for that. Just find something that works for you. And then when you become aware of what's happening, you're no longer reacting, right? So very important these days to not react and use that level of awareness, being an observer. Another example I like to use is that when your friend comes to you and asking for advice, and tells you, let's say your girlfriend comes over and she's telling you what's happening in the relationship and she doesn't know what to do, and you see it instantly what's going on and what she should be doing, where she's wrong, like how to fix that. You can see it, she can't, because she is right in the middle of it. She's being triggered, her emotions are high. But you as an observer, you are not vested, nothing is being triggered. You just see it as if like you're watching a TV or reading a book. You can see what to do. So we need to learn to practice the same method in our lives when it applies to us. Get off the stage, get on the balcony, become an observer, stop being an actor, become a producer of your life, and then you're able to see the situation for what it is. When you see the situation for what it is and not just your emotional triggers and your emotional response, you are able to find the best decision. And that's how you create the life you truly desire, because you're no longer triggered and you're no longer influenced. You're no longer kind of controlled and manipulated by your own old traumas. So this is, honestly, this is one of the most important tools to learn if you want to be in charge of your life and create the life you truly desire. And that's what I'm teaching in my workshops. It's one of the steps. Okay, I think that's enough for today for that step. Next week, like I said, we'll discuss energetic vampires. Also extremely important. And also why being mindful and practicing mindfulness is so important, because sometimes it's not just our emotional triggers, it's also all kinds of energy vampires that we're surrounded with. Nothing crazy, there's no conspiracy theory or whatever. It's really just about giving away energy to different things and events that are just draining us. And if we can acknowledge that and stop that, again, we come back to being a creator and have the life we truly desire. So stay tuned for that for next week. Now we're just gonna practice breathing today. I'm gonna skip meditation today simply because I offer meditation on Wednesdays as well. This week it's going to be at 9 p.m. I realized 9:30 p.m. is a little too late. So I decided to actually skip the meditation during Monday sessions, because it's I'd rather spend more time on the lecture, which is very important too. But we'll practice a breathing exercise today, and we'll just do very simple breath that always brings us back to being an observer and becoming aware of our surroundings. So you just inhale and count how long it takes you to inhale. 5. And then you exhale and also count how long it takes you to exhale. 9 for me. So I would love to hear from you. Can you please just use the chat and tell me how many seconds it took you to inhale and how many seconds it took you to exhale? That would be helpful, because I'm going to explain that you want to make sure that your exhale is at least as long as your inhale. In fact, the best way to manage your stress actually and bring your body to that calm, cool, and collected state is really to exhale even longer than your inhale. Okay, so next time you take a breath, count again, and when you start exhaling, just make sure you count the same amount of time or even longer. So let's say for me it was 5 and 8, which is great. Because I practice that and I train myself to do that. But as long as I have, let's say 5, 5, I'm also good. Ideally, I want to have 5, 8, or 5, even 5, 10. And let's say if you inhaled for 3 and exhaled for 3, you want to try to practice in extending your time. So let's say next breath is going to be 4, 4, 4. And then the next one is going to be 5, 5. I can actually go to 10, which is perfect. When I had to learn to go to 10 when I was pregnant. And so for those of us who are planning to get pregnant or want to have children one day, it's a very, very good breath to learn to extend and inhale as long as make it as long as possible and exhale as long as possible, because it's really helping you when you are in labor. But I would say it probably applies to all kinds of other physical, very strenuous physical experience, right? So practice it on your own terms. We'll just do one more here together. So let's do one more. And I used my mouth to exhale, but I only do it once. Then I always use my nose. You don't want to use your mouth, particularly you don't want to use your mouth when you inhale, because you inhale more air than you need to, and your body actually can activate that anxiety inside. So never inhale through your mouth, even when you exercise. So if you, let's say, running or doing some kind of cardio and you realize that you need to use your mouth, then slow down. You don't want to inhale through your mouth, okay? So I think that's it for today. Log in on Wednesday, please, if you would love to participate in my meditation session. It's called Midweek Reset Meditation, and I purposely schedule it on Wednesdays. It's midweek, and it's usually when our energy goes down, and that's why sometimes when we get to the weekend we are completely exhausted, and then we take the whole weekend to just recover. We don't want to do that. We want to be productive and fruitful during the weekend. It's our weekend to enjoy, right? And play. So when just doing one simple meditation on Wednesday night is going to help you reset and recharge your batteries. So I'm not going to do that meditation today. We'll do it on Wednesday. And then I'll see you also next Monday. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here, and have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.